Yo, what's up everyone? Hopefully you are here joining us live. If not, and you're watching this after the fact, hello. My name is Enrique from Novation. Today we're going to be talking about the Novation Peak. That was a fun little patch that I made exploring this new update, changing some of the delay times and doing some weird stuff there, which we'll get into today. Today I really wanted to cover a lot of the new updates for Peak as well as Summit. Actually, you know what? I have I know what you're thinking. I can hear you already. Where's Calc? What happened to Calc? Where's the British guy with the beautiful mustache? He had some matters to attend to, but he will be back talking about Summit. I'm here covering Peak for you. So with the Peak update, a lot of this applies to the Summit update. If anything, it all works basically exactly the same. There's been a bunch of bug fixes as well that have been squashed and fixed for both of the devices. Let me jump into the chat, make sure everyone can hear me okay. Yeah, nice. What's going on, everyone? Cool. Happy to have you here. So yeah, when it comes to Peak, we are talking about a ton of amazing, awesome updates. And one of my favorites, which is something I've been asking for such a long time, is envelopes to the Animate buttons. This is massive because now you can actually apply an attack and release to your Animate buttons, which allow you to do a ton of crazy things, like this, for example. I have a simple note, right? But if I just tap this, you can hear it slowly comes back to normal. Maybe apply this to like a chord. Right, so something like this, so I clearly got lost a bit. Something like this is very, very powerful, especially when it comes to a lot simpler things. Like let's say we want the filter to always go up a specific amount, right? To do this, we would go into our mod slots. We would say Animate 1 or 2 in this case is going to go where? We want Animate 2 to go to our filter release. Right, so we'll just find filter frequency and turn that up a little bit. You can see Animate 2 automatically illuminates. So prior, you would have this on off, right? But if you go to envelopes now, you have Animate 1 and Animate 2 envelopes. We can turn our attack up. So it moves this filter up to a very specific point. To me, this update feels very much like a sound designer's dream. Like there's so much nerdy, cool things about this. And my favorite one, which is noise as a mod source, which originally I didn't think would be that powerful, but it is by far my most favorite thing on here, which we're going to get to in a little bit. So jumping back here, we also have controls over our release for Animate 2. So I can push this, and then when I let go, it falls a little slower, or we push this really high up. Check this out. You get the idea, right? Having envelopes attack and release for both the Animates is such a powerful tool. And in the patch that I had just a second ago that you heard with me going crazy, all this insanity is, if we go here, Animate 1 is affecting how much FM from oscillator 3 is going into 1. And Animate 1 is also affecting LFO 1's rate. But what's important here is I've used this normaled knob, which is a dedicated modulation connection between LFO1 and the filter cutoff. So this is set to about 72, which is why you can see this shape that's flashing here is opening up this filter. And when I press Animate, it makes that go really, really fast. And what's cool is if you go into your Animates here and I turn the attack up even more, it's going to take a while for Animate 1 to start moving all this modulation, right? But if I tap it, you can almost play the intensity. because it's not resetting the envelope. It's almost falling in its cycle, and then from where its cycle is falling, it's slowly moving back up more and more, which allows you to just if I just tap it like crazy, it starts going. And then it slowly falls back to normal. And you can even pair this up with two mod sources. So let's say we wanted the LFO to not affect the filter. You can have the LFO1 going to the filter cutoff as the second source, because one of my favorite things about Peak as well as Summit is that on all the mod slots you actually have two destinations. So you know what, instead of me telling you, let me just go ahead and show you what it sounds like. We'll jump over here to LFO1 rate, and we'll say Animate 1 here. Destination is going to be filter cutoff, and then the second source will be LFO1. Yo, that is really pretty. Wow, let me turn that up even more. Oh man, the other patch was garbage compared to this. Let me turn a little reverb up, turn our release up. Let me just hold a key latch here. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was going to sound that good. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, two mod sources to each destination with envelopes on the Animates now, which is incredibly powerful, especially when it comes to a performative aspect. If you're using this on a stage, or even if you're tracking it in live and you want to have very precise movements between when you push something, what happens. It's really powerful, especially when it comes to things like FM, and then you can turn on your oscillator key sync to make sure it hits the right exact spot every time. It's one of the benefits of having things like these Oxford oscillators, which are FPGA based, NCOs, numerically controlled oscillators. They're extremely accurate if you really need them to be. Let me jump over into the chat, see what people are saying. What's going on, everyone? Does it work well with the Bass Station 2? Yeah, you could play them. They work together. Let's see. All right, I'm going to just keep moving on. I'm going to jump to these questions later. Please leave them in the chat. I'll be sure to come by them again. So another thing that we got here is new effects. If I just initialize this patch and we want to listen to some simple ones, right? What we got now is on our chorus, which used to be just a chorus. If you go to effects, under chorus here, you have mode. We have chorus, flanger, and flanger. That ain't a typo. This is kind of a mixture between a phaser and a flanger. So flanger sounds like this, right? You have your depth, as well as your feedback, one of my favorite things. You can get it crazy, right? And on top of this, you can still adjust the rate, right? Or really slow. Basically static. Right, we make this kind of plucky. Yes. Right, and then we turn the rate up a little bit, you'll start to hear it move around. Now, if we move over to Flanger, you can kind of move this and lock it into a new spot. And not to mention, you have a ton of new mod slot mod destinations. So for example, this chorus rate that we keep locking in, if we were to go into our effects mod slots here, our destination could be the chorus rate. And what's the destination? Well, we can set it to whatever we want. We can set it to Animate. We can set it to LFO 1, 2, 3, and 4, or LFO 3 and 4. So let's try LFO 3, right? And now if we go to LFO 3 here, we can set LFO 3's wave shape to random sample and hold. We'll turn LFO rate down. And if we go to our phase, we'll set it to 0 degrees. So every time we hit the key, it's going to reset. And if we go back here, we can start turning up our depth. So every time we hit the key, it's going to be a different rate. Right, you can do some wild stuff. Not only do we have chorus rates, there's distortion level, chorus rate, depth, feedback, onto the delays, the levels, the times, the feedback, the reverb level, time, low pass damp, high pass damp, the size, the low pass, and the high pass. After that, your delay, slew, dampening. There's look at all this stuff. Noise, high pass filter, noise, low pass filter, which again, I said earlier, we'll get to the noise. The noise, I think, is the best spot or the best thing about this update, and a bunch of different things. But let me show you this really cool patch really quick. So if I go over to this one called Delay Play, there's this new almost delay, lo-fi delay that has been added to Peak and Summit. If I go to our effects, there's time mode. What is time mode, right? Time mode is going to change the sample rate of the delay by half or a quarter, or in this case, treble, which is kind of like a third in a weird way, and it slowly starts to kind of degrade the delay. But I'm not sure if Novation realized this. If you mess around with these, they are extremely playable. So listen to this. This patch is a little weird. It's the one I was playing at the beginning. So right now, I've gone ahead and set the wet level to full and our dry level to just 20, just to be able to barely hear it. But I really want to listen to the delay more than I do the dry level. Going back to our time mode, if I hold down a chord and change our time mode, it's going to sweep up the delay musically. Now we're at a double, and now we're at normal. Do you hear how it's kind of moving in pitch, like down an octave, down almost like a seventh or a fifth or something strange? It starts doing these really, really cool things. Now, let's hit it. I'm just playing the same chord over and over again. Now let's take it up again. And if we really wanted to hear this in its true form, we'll again go to initialize patch. Let's keep it nice and simple. Right, so we'll have some time, maybe about here and here. Right, and we'll change this. Again. You hear how the time is changing? Do you hear that lo-fi hiss that it has? So this is just changing how long of a time delay you can actually have. So it's letting you get really, really, really long delays, and then you turn the feedback up. It starts to act almost as a looper, because if we were to do this, and I play a couple little notes in here, let's say, this will go on forever. Right? And then we can do some cool things like change the routing. So right now it's just delay out, chorus out, reverb out. But let's say we go delay into reverb into chorus. Turn our chorus up a little. And now let's go to our chorus and change it to that Flanger and lock the rate. Give you some feedback. Let's add a couple more notes. Really wash this out. Pull our feedback down a little. Right, like look, no voices. I ain't adding any more notes and I'm just letting this thing run. So having a really, really new way to just stretch your delay times out has been really fun, especially to play them musically, because again, if we're to just go and add these in here, and I just go to our delay time, it's just so fun to just go ahead and explore all of this stuff. Speaking of delays and different types of mod slots, if we go to our modulation matrix here, we've added some new destinations. We have mod envelope 2's sustain, mod envelope 2's hold, and mod envelope 2's delay. So delay, not to be confused with decay, is going to delay the start of mod envelope 1 or mod envelope 2's cycle. So you can hit a note and say delay for, I don't know, half a second, and then do the attack, decay, sustain. So delay is definitely different from, delay is definitely different from decay. I'm confused myself now. So not only those, for both mod envelope 1 and 2, the amp envelopes and oscillator 2, 1, 2, and 3 shape. This is really, really fun and really nice, because if you were to say, let's initialize this patch and we can do pulse width, triangle, and triangle, but I'm going to set this triangle somewhere else. We'll turn up the oscillators, right? Do something fun here. So we got a couple oscillators going. We have this one moving. We can move this one around. And then we'll set this one to a sine. Actually, we'll set this to something cool, like a wavetable. Carousel. Now I can apply movement to all three of their shapes at the same time with the same source without taking up 3 different mod slots. So I can just say, where's it at? It's over here at the back end. Man, there's so many destinations now. Oscillator 1, 2, 3 shape. Where do I want it to land? Right, and if we go to, let's just do something simple, LFO1. And you can start doing some really weird, trippy things when it comes to key sync. You also got a global key sync for all the LFOs, which actually act in a very, very weird, I guess I wouldn't say weird, but it's kind of unique that you can have a global key sync for all the LFOs, and it's based on until all the notes turn off. So if you have LFO 1, 2, 3, and 4, sending sample and hold at a rate of 0. This sounds crazy. At a rate of 0 to 4 different destinations, and you play a chord, it's going to hold all those values until you let go and play a new chord. So you don't have to worry about all these crazy movements between you playing the chord. From the first note to the last note, it's going to hold random values until you let go. Hope that makes sense. All right, noise. Oh man, noise is my favorite thing about this. So much so, I'm going to start from an initialized patch, right? We'll go here. So I used to think wanting to add like lo-fi or kind of some degradation or grit or dirt to my patch would just be turn up noise. No siree. There's so many different ways you can do this now because you have in the mod matrix noise as a source to your modulation. So we can send our noise to our pitch. And you can maybe send it to your virtual sync, which gets really wild. I'm going to turn this down a bit. Right? So we are and we aren't hearing noise. Noise is all the way down on peak. But what we're hearing is noise, like just white noise, modulating and affecting different sources. And in some of those sources, or some of those destinations, it almost sounds like noise, but you're just hearing the modulation of noise, which is the trippiest thing to me. Not only that, you actually have, I'll leave it here because this is very extreme. If we go to our effects, you have, where is it at? Oh man, I forgot where I put it. Is it under, no, I could have swore it was effects. You have your noise. Yo, can I not find this thing right now? Oh, I got too excited. Here it is. There we go. You have noise low pass filter and a noise high pass filter, which is, here's the important part, pre-modulation, pre-mod matrix. This is actually affecting the noise itself, which is then applied to whatever destinations you set it in the mod matrix. Listen, I'll show you right now. If we wanted to high pass this, hear how it's a lot softer here? We can even bring it down. So we can start to really, really fine tune this to be a very specific notch of where we want the noise to modulate our destination when it comes to the mod matrix. This is why I was saying this is such a nerdy sound designer, weird, like I'm gonna make the exact sound I want in the exact way that I want it to sound update. This is so cool to me. Right? Because let's see what the difference is. I'm going to go ahead and just turn up noise. Yeah, see, that's not what I want. I don't want that. I want it's such a weird, subtle, specific thing that just makes this so awesome. And you can do this to a ton of different things. Like let's say we had a wavetable, and I'm going to go back to our mod slots here so I can hear what I'm going to be doing. Right? Cool. Let's take this. What is this? Organ? This sounds like organ. Oh, it's chords. Okay, even better. I can now send this noise to oscillator 1's shape. And listen to this. It just adds this tiny amount of grit to everything. Or let's try sending it to the filter cutoff. Easy, right? Filter frequency. Turn the resonance up a little. You can hear it there. And without it, listen to the difference. Right? And probably one of the coolest places I've found, I haven't tried them all yet, trust me, been working on it. One of the most fun ones is, we'll turn this off, right? We'll go to our effects section. And in the effects menu, you have another a mod matrix, right? 4 slots. Remember delay time and how weird that was? So I'm going to go and send noise to our delay time. And you might be thinking, what is that going to sound like? Because if white noise is moving so fast that it's just static, and your delay time is trying to stay in time, what's about to happen? I said the same thing. So we'll turn our delay up. Oh, it's already there. You heard it. Right, and what's cool here, we can start to kind of shape this up a little bit. And if we go back to our effects, I can say delay time mode, we'll do double. Actually, let's do quad lo-fi, bring the time way down. And what else I'm going to do is just turn the dry level off. Turn our feedback up a little bit. Do you hear this? Turn our dry up a little. It just sounds like the distorted radio version of that, but you can start working this into weird different things. Again, going into our routing and maybe sending this delay into the reverb. And we'll go ahead and turn that one down just, or turn it up a little more. Let's see what that does. Right. And again, just having noise in a weird way, someone mentioned it in the chat as it almost like a bit crusher is exactly kind of where I feel it kind of starts headed, but then it just adds this beautiful texture to everything. And John in the chat actually has a great idea, which is to slew the delay time, right? So if we go to our delay time here, what Slew is going to do is that's just going to slow down and soften the edges of when things change. Oh, right, I have this insane delay time here. Let's turn it to normal. Here it's slowly whipping up. So that actually starts to add a softening mechanism, kind of just saying from this value to this value, slowly go up versus just jumping up really hard and having it be really, really harsh. Another thing, speaking of Slew, on Peak, update a while ago, we added 2 more LFOs, LFO 3 and 4, which is in the LFO menu. What's cool with these is we've now added the slew rate as well as the fade time for both LFO 3 and 4. And that just comes in really handy when it comes to softening the edges of your LFOs. To show what I mean by this, again, initialize patch, we'll say mod matrix, we're just going to send LFO 3 only positive to the filter cutoff. Where are you at? Right. By how much? A lot. LFO 3, what's the rate of it? Sync rate, we'll turn it off. Okay, cool. And we'll set this to a square wave. Hear how sharp that is bup, 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 bup. If you were to start adding Slew, listen to how it changes. You hear how the time of it starts to soften, right? Which is really cool because this becomes really handy when you start going into sample and hold. I'm not doing anything. It's just doing its own thing, right? Without Slew, right, turn Slew up. It just starts doing randomness. What fade time is a fade on the depth of the LFO going to its destination. So let's turn Slew off. We'll go back to R square. And if we turn fade time up, listen to how long it takes for the LFO to fully affect the filter. Right, so both of these, again, are super handy. They were on LFO1 as well as LFO2. I mean, they even got dedicated knobs right here. But the fact that they've added them to LFO3 and LFO4 is awesome by my standards. Which, honestly, it doesn't take a lot to impress me when it comes to synthesizers. I just love synthesizers. Let's see, what else have we not covered? Oh, man, I forgot. We got the new voice modes on here too. So previously, if you were to go and set unison or unison detune, you would have your unison spread. But now we got spread modes. We have diverge, alternate, diverge 2, and note value. What this will do is going to pan our voices across the stereo field. And if we go to diverge, oh, I'm sorry. Pan position is just literally going to pan peak. But if we go to spread, honestly, I don't know if YouTube or the other streaming platforms allow stereo across. Hopefully you can hear this as much as I can. So diverge kind of just randomly happens. Alternate will alternate the voices. And then a really cool one is diverge 2, which is left, middle, right, middle, left, middle, right, middle, depending on. And then lastly, note value will assign each note of a keyboard or whatever notes are coming in to a different stereo position, which is pretty unique. So let's say we do, I don't know. And this is really handy when it comes to arpeggiators because you will have a set arpeggiated position in the stereo field. So let's try that same chord again. Right, you can hear it's kind of going left to right. Actually, speaking of ARP, check this out. There's different types. We got down, up, down, the way I played it, random, it's going to get a little wild here, chord, and chord 2. But what is chord 2? Doesn't that sound exactly like what we just played in, right? Listen to this. If you go one more page over, or 2 pages over, you got Arp Chance. If I start turning this down, let's do to 50%. Listen to what chord 2 does now. Do you get it? Do you hear this? So what this is doing is giving a 50-50 chance that chord 2 will either play the chord or play a single note from that arpeggiator. Then you tie that in with the stereo spread, and every note has its assigned spot in the stereo field. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Right, so if we turn this really, really low down, let's just do 10%. I'm just holding the chord down right now. It's just choosing random notes to play all at the same time, and it's not even playing the entire chord. It's just playing notes of that chord either together at the same time or just not playing anything at all. So the arpeggiator has been updated. I mean, you got the noise, you got the animates now, you got the new delay types, you got the new chorus types, you got LFO 3 and 4 fixes and bug fixes and new additions to LFO 3 and 4. This weird Arp Chance thing. I mean, is there anything else that I've missed? All the mod slot destinations. If you go to your mod matrix here and go up, like I mentioned, they're all here at the back. You can even do different things like sending noise to different places, because all of these destinations can be affected by the noise circuit, and the noise circuit itself has a low pass and a high pass, so you can really start to carve in and find that perfect modulation source and destination and have it set to just the perfect amount. Let's see, what else have I not covered? I mean, that's kind of it. There might be a couple little things in there here and there that I might have skipped over, but let me jump into the chat and see what else people got going on. Thanks again for tuning in, by the way. And if you're catching this after, leave your questions down in the comments below, because we'll be sure to check it out. As you were, yes, that would be amazing. Let me scroll up. The panning possibility is great. Yeah, the panning thing is really cool. Oh, awesome. It is in stereo. I'm happy y'all were able to hear that. As you were, maybe you could sell it. Who knows? I wish there was a way I can just say like find question marks, right? Oh, thank you, Alex. You're too kind. Industrial sounds, yeah. Sweet, no questions. I guess I'm covering this pretty decently. Not bad. What's up, Hugo Paris? Good to see you. So chorus has 3 types. Do the flanger and phaser have 3 also? Yeah, they do. Surge, they do. All the effects here, the rate and the types, will all be applied to whatever chorus type you choose. Let's see. Iosis, I don't know exactly which were fixed, but it's in the release notes for both Summit and Peak. Be sure to check it out for sure. Awesome. Wow, yeah, everyone's asking about that tide thing. Sync envelopes to the tempo. Wow, that's actually pretty interesting. I'm not sure if you can. I know you can. I guess it's not really the same, but if you were to set, how would you do this? You could set a sawtooth with a little bit of slew, which would act as your attack, and your sawtooth rate would kind of be your decay, and then you can apply that to a destination, and you can change that rate with the animates. That could be kind of cool, and you can kind of get things going like that. Oh, sorry, I don't even answer the question. Someone asked, is it possible to sync the envelopes to tempo with the animates? Oh wait, I did say that out loud. Awesome. I mean, let's see. I'm going to just show this off one more time to really get the point across in a subtle manner, not so much the extreme version, right? So let's make like a simple kind of woozy, seasick pad. I'm going to go ahead and say fixed chord on my launch key 37, which is just out of frame. All right, so we'll turn this up. A little bit of this. Okay, so watch. Check out how easy this is. Source, noise, destination, filter frequency, depth, just a little. Or let's try something new. Oscillator 1's shape. And we'll go to E piano, my favorite. You hear it there, right? Turn up oscillator 2. Detune it a little. A little bit of reverb. Say we wanted that to happen all the time. Mod envelope 2's depth, which was going to the pitch here, would be great. We can say a little bit, just a bit. But we don't want the pitch to change completely, so I'm going to turn our sustain all the way down and our attack all the way down because I want it to start at the top. So this is basically going to get skipped or decay. So let's turn it up even more. You hear that? A little ugly, but that's okay. A little less, just a kiss of it. Same for oscillator 2. Oscillator 2s do a lot. Oh yeah. Say we don't like that meow, little cow meow at the beginning. Cow meow? Cows don't meow. Cat meow. I'm going to go and set that same envelope, mod envelope 2, to the destination of oscillator 2's level, but negatively. Actually, yeah. So we can skip the cow's meow at the beginning and only hear the last little warble into here. A little less of this. Same thing, let's add a little bit of grit to this. We'll go to mod slot 3, noise, destination, it's going to be filter frequency. Now, let's go and change our, where is it at? I have it in the oscillator section, right? Yep, our high pass. Just the tiniest amount. A little bit of chorus on there. LFO2 depth, we'll go a little real slow, bring it off. Right? You see where this is going? I mean, to me, it's just awesome. This is so fun. Let's go to mod. I need to do it. I have no choice. We'll say source, animate 1, destination, alpha 1's rate. Actually, let me set it first. Yeah. And then we can go and change our envelope for that. Animate 1's. Let's do 60 and 90. Even slower on that attack. Either way, hope you had some fun today. Hope you learned a little bit about Peak as well as Summit and some of its capabilities. In case you're not familiar, Peak is the 8-voice polysynth from Novation. Summit is essentially 2 peaks, 16 voices, bi-timbral, 2 patches at once, plus the dual analog filter that does not come on Peak. Peak just has a single analog filter version with keys. It's huge. It's amazing. I wish I had the space for it because I would have one in here, which is why I have a Peak. But they're both awesome synthesizers. This update has been just a long time coming. I'm so excited that it's here. I'm so excited that it's out and I can finally talk about it and just make some new sounds with it. So yeah, if you have a Peak or a Summit, you don't know how to update, visit components.novationmusic.com. We should have a link to it down in the description below as well. There you can get the free update. You can download artist packs, sounds that artists have made, and have some fun. It's all good to go if you already got one. And yeah, appreciate you coming by. Let me take a quick look through the chat one more time before I roll out of here. But seriously, thank you everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Let's see. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. Dan, amazing. Thanks for coming by. Glenn, awesome. Yeah, it's a little compressed, right? But just wait till you hear it in person. I'm straight to the can, so I'm good over here. Drum and bass pads all day. Yeah, you can do some pretty gnarly stuff with the Animates and the FM to make it jump to a very specific spot. That's where it gets really, really fun. Let's see. Ow, now, cow, meow. Yeah, exactly. The scary skeleton scooted to school. I could say that all day. Amazing. Yo, I appreciate. Oh, is it possible to send reverb to mod envelope? Whoa. That's deep, Muzz G. You are sound designing on another planet. I don't think you could do that on this Peak just yet. That's an interesting choice. That'd be, I don't know what that would sound like. Reverb size on mod point. Yeah, I did a couple of those little things. You can start using different things. Is sustain a mod destination? Yes, sustain is a mod destination. Finally. Yeah, it is, which is awesome. Actually, let me double check. Oh yeah, it is. Because if we go here and we jump over to our destinations, you got mod envelope 2 sustain, mod envelope 1 sustain, amp envelope sustain. So yes, mod envelope 1 and 2 and amp sustain is now a destination for you to visit and take a vacation. Arp Chance with the chords. Arp Chance with chords. Yeah, you can Arp Chance with the chords as well. If we're to do that now, we go to Arp Chance here, and I go to this page, and we say chord 1, right? Oh, and turn it on, of course. Right. Oh, and I have so much going on in this. Here, this will be way easier to understand. Arp on, Arp Chance, 50%, and we'll go to our chord. Right, so Arp Chance chords, hope that answers it. Do you have a link to GeForce? I do not. Can you have a t-shirt? I've had this one forever. This is like old school. This is before everything, right? This is like 2008, 2017, or 2008, 2018, 2017. Amazing. Again, leave all your questions down in the comments below. We'll get to it after the live stream. I appreciate you again, my friend, and we'll see you.